you coming to Lights Out or Giving Garden? I have planned my schedule to be in the Lights Out.
Okay.
So I'll be there. Thank you. I'm hoping.
All right. I call this meeting to order at 2:04 p.m. Vice President,
Present.
Director of Internal Affairs,
Here.
Director of Legislative Affairs,
Present.
Director of Finance,
Here.
Director of Outreach,
Present.
Director of Student Technology, absent excused. Is there any amendments that need to be made to the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I motion to approve the agenda.
I second.
Moved by Alicia, seconded by Moira. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. All right, approval of the minutes. They were sent to you.
I motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
Moved by Mariah, seconded by Moira. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. All right, now we move to open public forum. Now is the time for public comment. Welcome and thank you to all those members of the public who are present in today's meeting. This segment of the meeting provides the executive board an opportunity to hear new concerns and new perspectives on current issues relating to the UW-Tacoma student body. The executive board will neither discuss nor debate topics raised in public comment. This is not because we don't value commenters' perspectives, but is to ensure that any related action is taken transparently before a duly notified public at a future meeting. However, directors may ask clarifying questions of those giving public comment or request to meet to gain further insight after the meeting. In addition, ASUWT is committed to ASUWT is committed to fostering a constructive and respectful environment in these meetings. As such, we kindly ask that all remarks made during public comment reflect professionalism, respect, and come from a place of mutual understanding that we are all here to advocate on behalf of students. With that, I will now begin public forum, in which we have Emmanuel, Speaker of Senate, Stacia, our new office manager, welcome. And then Connor and Buddy, our advisors. What? Cool. If no comments during open public forum, we'll move down to unfinished business, in which we have none. And then we have new business, which will begin with an executive session. And now we're about to enter an executive session as defined by RCW 42.30.110 and Section 205.02 of the ASUWT bylaws. An executive session is a closed meeting that allows the board to discuss specific confidential matters such as personnel matters, legal matters, negotiations, or HR-related matters without public presence. The purpose of this is to ensure candid and protected discussions. During this session, the board will be meeting to discuss ASUWT hiring and committee appointments. After the board concludes discussion, we will reconvene in an open meeting. Note that this is only for discussion and votes will be made publicly and transparently in the meeting. And with that, I ask all members of the public to leave the room to allow for executive session to begin.
Yeah, you can ask them cheating.
The public may be brought back in.
Oh, I'll get an
Is it? We're good? Cool.
Awesome. I would like to motion to approve Arandi Zuniga for CCE.
Is there a second?
I second.
Moved by Nora, seconded by Moira. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. All right. With no further action to be taken after executive session, we'll move down to our next item of business, which is a proposed change to ASUWT bylaw 280.03, which I will pull that up real quick. Nora, did you want to explain the rationale behind this proposed change?
Yes. So currently with how the hiring process works, it's pretty lengthy, takes a while. So in the case where there are vacancies on the team, it can lead to a pretty significant gap between that role being filled. So in the situation where someone were to leave the team, just being able to take away that 2-week mandatory waiting period for the position to be open would move the process along so much faster, so we could get work done. So I think that'd be really cool to move things along.
Is there any questions or comments about these proposed changes? What gets striked and why? Any suggested wording for changing it, or if there's a motion to approve or deny this?
I motion to approve bylaw 208.03.
Second.
Moved by Mariah, seconded by Moira. All those in favor say aye.
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 Is that everyone? Did everyone vote? Okay. Motion passed unanimously. Cool. That will go to Senate to vote on next week, and then it will be official. Cool. Director updates.
The Legislative Action Council will have our first meeting next week on Tuesday from 11 to 12. So that'll be fun. And then WSA's Fall General Assembly is this weekend. So we will be solidifying our state student lobbying agenda. That is all.
For me, okay, so the hourly tracking form, I wanted to bring this up again because annual allocations is something that I had to work on during winter quarter. As of right now, I only have fall and summer, and when you work on it in winter quarter, winter data is not really needed. It's the fall and summer data that's going to be really needed. So what I'm saying now is that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us, and there's only been 4 members filling out on the director side of the exec board, and one of them is me. I will not be listing the names, but so that needs to be filled out, please.
this Friday, tomorrow. Lights Out and Goals and Games. Can you believe that it's almost time for that? And Campus Conversation is coming up next Tuesday. Please add your slides. I can't emphasize enough. And yeah, hopefully we get some senators to get involved in Goals and Games and Lights Out. Yeah, that's my update.
The first official CCE meeting is next Tuesday from 2 to 3. Yay! That's my update.
I am asking senators for updates for campus conversation. So we'll be adding to those slides as soon as possible. And then also hiring for city liaison. The hiring committee met. We have people we would like to interview. Interviews are being offered and will be happening soon. So also look to the sign-up sheets. May or may not need help with those. Probably will. And then we are also nearing the end of campus development task force stuff. So we will almost be done with all of our task force hiring.
When does that start? Like, when do they all start?
November.
When do they start? Sorry.
I have been told by Connor that the earliest is the 1st of November, but it depends on when they get the paperwork in. So we shall see. We'll be updating you all. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of things. Cool. Advisor updates?
Pick your mic.
Want to go first, buddy?
It's already in.
Just planting some seeds for your brains and perspectives. You know, I don't know if y'all saw if you follow the UW News newsletter at all, but like this incoming class is the most diverse UW as a whole has ever seen. Our percentage went up 4% of enrollment here at Tacoma, but of those folks, a whole ton of them are transfer students. I know we get into our emotions here with UW being that focus, but we have a huge population of transfer students that when I speak to them, in my experience working with transfer students, they really do feel unseen a lot of times because they say a lot of programming is targeted towards 4-year folks or true freshmen, things like that. So just again, planting that seed that when you're in your different majors, different departments, as senators talking to Emmanuel here, but in your spaces, keep that in mind that a lot of these folks may not know some of the lingo that we use here, some of the acronyms, some of the culture differences because they've come from another institution as a transfer student. And then on top of that, their time here is really condensed. So think of those times where like, yeah, this is a great initiative or thing that you can participate in, but only if you have X amount of time here, like over 2 years, right? Or more than a year or something like that. Sometimes these folks come in with a lot of credits and they do that. So I just wanted you to think about that. I'll drop the article into one of our chats or via email just so you can read it. And it talks about the numbers that we've seen here and across the board. But we're growing and it's going to continue to grow. Obviously, you know, that master plan is part of that. They're really thinking ahead. And so we just need to start thinking of not only who's at the table and who gets a spot in the room, but who's not in the room and who's not being seen. So just keep that in mind.
2 quick things that kind of came from the Senate meeting yesterday from an advisor perspective, which you all kind of do well, but it could be done really well, is when you have stuff to talk about in the meetings, come with notes. That it makes it easier to deliver because you're just talking to each other and updating each other. But remember, you're in a public meeting, so people might need to know what's going on, and having what you want to say available to you in front of you is most important. If you have a computer, make sure you're not distracted, but obviously have the notes you want to talk about and have the things that you're supposed to have reviewed ready to go. And then also just something that I'm noticing is if something's an expectation that you need from each other, I'm explaining it as don't be wishy-washy. Like, don't be like, oh, I really need y'all to do this if you can do it when you have time. It's like, if it's something you expect and is part of the person's job, it's okay to be directly saying, I need you to do this. So just something I'm noticing with a lot of our student leaders, but don't be afraid to have that. If you ever run into pushback because someone challenges an expectation or the way you delivered it, that's more of a conversation about how we have to remind them what they're supposed to be doing. As Mariah said, Goals and Games is tomorrow, lights out, both ASUWT is involved in those things. And then there's a bunch of other programming coming up. Our RSOs are more active earlier this quarter because of how early involvement fair was. So lots of meetings, and they are sources for the senators as well as you all to connect with their meetings and really push the surveys, get that information out there. So I want to challenge the Senate to find RSOs that they're not in, that they'll find a meeting that they can go to talk about the different things that are happening and the surveys, of course. I heard a lot of senators saying talking to their school, talking to RSOs that they're a part of, but that misses out on a lot of other areas that you can be using for your surveys. The public speaking improvement cohorts kick off next week. So there's one's full, so we'll see how that goes. The other one has 13 people. If people are interested, it's Wednesdays at 3:45. And then there will be a Spirit Week being hosted during Halloween week out of the Center for Student Involvement with lots of opportunities to take your photos and enjoy that. And then being planned, but it will be happening on November 20th. The Starbucks treasure hunt will be happening again on campus to win lots of Starbucks things. And just a reminder, we ran into a little bit of this today, but always verify with Nora and myself if a person can start who's been hired. We need to make sure that they're through the process, and sometimes we can say, yeah, November 1st is 2 weeks away, but Monica has to process the paperwork, and if they're not in the system, they cannot start working. Even training counts. So always verify with Nora or myself if a person can start on that projected date. That's it. Hold on. Special allocations are due November 8th, so Alicia will be working on, you didn't say that. We'll be working on that, so she will need data, and then Moira, who's finding out right now, will be working on the CEF-CTF proposal with me.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I sent out the campus-wide email. I was just about to announce that because I sent out the campus-wide email last Friday about special allocations being open, and it's due to November 8th. So yeah, it's now official. Woo-hoo.
Okay. Regarding chair announcements with survey season, keep getting students to take the surveys. Added to Mariah's event sheet with times for tabling for the rest of this month. If you can make any of those, please sign up. If you can't, classroom presentations in SET and likely the graduate school as well. We really need coverage. I can go to the ones on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I really can't do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I will be adjusting one of the spreadsheets so people can see at a glance of which ones to sign up for, because until the task forces are fully on board, exec when they can, I need help. Cool.
Can I actually?
Yeah.
If for some reason something comes up and you're not able to come to the table, it's very important that you update the team or myself if you want to send a direct message. Because otherwise, if you're on that cleanup shift, it would just stay there and forever and ever until somebody found it. So, so this happened recently, and I just want to put it out there that that's unacceptable, and to communicate, please. So, yeah.
Cool. With that, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
Moved by Nora, seconded by Mariah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. Adjourn this meeting at 2:27 p.m.